Welcome to this explainer. Today we're unpacking a seriously fascinating chapter called Connecting the Dots. We are going to dive headfirst into the world of statistics and learn exactly how to uncover the hidden stories behind everyday numbers. Because whether you're trying to figure out if you're paying way too much for groceries or you're trying to predict a cricket player's next big score, data is quite literally everywhere. And this chapter? It's our ultimate guide to becoming true data detectives. Let's kick things off right away with a quick mental exercise straight from the chapter. This is going to test some of our ingrained assumptions. Imagine your teacher tells you they're meeting two childhood friends this evening. One friend is 5 feet tall, and the other is 6 feet tall. Just based on that super limited information, what is your gut guess as to each friend's gender?
Okay, be honest. If you guessed the shorter person was a woman and the taller person was a man, you just used your own real-world experience to apply basic statistical thinking. And this brilliantly illustrates a core concept here. We rely on statistical thinking every single day without even realizing we're doing it. Now, obviously, 6-foot-tall women and 5-foot-tall men absolutely exist, but your lived experience tells you that, generally speaking, men are taller than women. You naturally observed a pattern and made a statistical statement.
But hey, to actually think like a data detective, we first got to know how to ask the right questions. A true statistical question can only be answered by collecting and interpreting varying data. So, for instance, asking what is the price of a tennis ball in India? Well, that isn't really statistical if there's a fixed retail price. However, asking what was the rainfall pattern in Barmer last year absolutely is. Rainfall varies daily, right? So finding that answer actually requires gathering multiple data points to uncover the underlying story.
All right, moving on to Phase 2, the center of gravity. Consider these cricket scores for two different players, Shubman and Yashasvi. At first glance, Shubman's total of 110 runs completely beats Yashasvi's 96. So Shubman obviously had the better series, right? Well, hold on a second. Look a little closer at the actual matches played. Yashasvi completely sat out match 4. If Yashasvi scored fewer total runs, but he played fewer matches, how do we fairly judge their performance?
The chapter gives us this absolutely brilliant visualization for the solution. An average acts exactly like a fulcrum balancing a massive sumo wrestler against 4 ballerinas. It serves as this perfect balancing point to smooth out a player's extreme highs and extreme lows, ultimately giving us one single representative number.
So when we apply a basic arithmetic mean, it reveals the real truth here. By dividing their total runs by their respective matches played, we discover Yashasvi's average of 24 runs per match actually beats Shubman's 21. It's a huge reminder that raw totals can totally deceive us, and consistency across games played really matters.
But wait, any good data detective knows the mean isn't perfect. Sometimes extreme outliers, like a player scoring 200 runs in one amazing game and then laying a total goose egg in the next 5, can totally skew the mean, making it look much higher than it really feels. And that is exactly why we also use the median. The median is literally the middle value when you line up all your data points from smallest to largest. It gives us a completely different, much more grounded perspective on our clues. It ensures that one crazy extreme value doesn't completely throw off our entire investigation.
Next up, Phase 3, the landscape.
Dot plots are basically a detective's best friend. Instead of just handing you one single number, they reveal exactly how data spreads out across a line. You can instantly see where the clusters are, where the weird extreme outliers lie, and visually check if the mean and the median are actually close together. Because if the dots are tightly packed, your mean is a super reliable summary. But if they're spread all over the place, well, that variability is a massive part of the story itself.
The chapter highlights this exact point with this incredibly fun experiment. How long is a minute? I mean, it sounds simple enough, but when kids were asked to close their eyes and just guess when exactly 60 seconds had passed, the resulting dot plots were hilarious. The spread of the data highlights extreme variability in our internal clocks. Some kids opened their eyes way too early, while others were practically taking a nap. The mean gives us the average guess, sure, but the dot plot tells us the real truth. Human perception of time is wildly unreliable.
And that brings us to Phase 4, cracking the case.
Our source text provides this really foolproof 2-step process for interpreting literally any graph you might encounter in the wild. Step 1. Identify what is given. Look at how the graph is organized, check the scale on the axes, and note the basic visual patterns. Step 2. Infer from what is given. This is the fun part, where you analyze and interpret. Ask yourself, what does that pattern actually mean in the real world? Let's test this out.
Let's apply that two-step process right now to global rocket launches. First, we identify the raw facts, the categories, and the bar lengths. Then, moving to step 2, we infer. We can clearly deduce that the USA, China, and Russia lead the pack. We also spot that the bar for 2022 is almost double 2021, which is a massive spike in launches, followed by a noticeable drop in 2023. See, we cracked the story without even needing a degree in aerospace engineering.
Ultimately, reading data is kind of like holding two competing ideas in your head at the exact same time. On one side, you're always looking for the central tendency, that mean and median, giving you the center of the story. But on the other side, you absolutely must respect the variability, the spread, those wild outliers, and the extreme edges of reality. Both are absolutely vital clues. Relying on just one, that just gives you an incomplete picture of the world.
I'm going to leave you with one final puzzle, straight from the text. It's a padlock with a 3-digit code surrounded by some numerical clues. Using your newly sharpened skills in identifying patterns and logically inferring hidden truths, can you deduce the combination? Go ahead, take a screenshot and test your logic. Because once you really learn to see the mean, the median, and the messy, beautiful landscape of variability, you realize the world isn't just a series of random events, it's a giant puzzle just waiting to be solved. So, what are you waiting for? Keep connecting the dots.